What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and in this video I want to talk to you about this situation dealing with this rapper XxxTentacion. Really hope I'm pronouncing this guy's name correctly, and how this guy just got locked back up after his bond was revoked because he was out on bail for an aggravated battery charge on a pregnant ex-girlfriend of his that he ended up violating the terms of that bond arrangement because allegedly he was tampering with the witness. Now real quick, I gotta say this, I'm not sure if this guy actually did this or he didn't do this. I don't know what kind of proof they have that he did this. Maybe they have pictures that he beat this girl up, and if they do, he in some real trouble. So again, I'm not sure if they have pictures of this girl all beat up or if all they have is just her saying that he did these things. Though I'm not honestly sure that they could actually charge him with these things without having actual physical proof, which would be looking at her and seeing that she's all beat up. Then again, all it really takes is a female to say you did anything, and boy, you're gonna end up with some charges on you. I'm just trying to tell you this actually happened to me, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you how I actually was in a similar situation to what this guy XxxTentacion is going through right now. Except in my situation, I definitely didn't do what I was accused of doing, and believe me, I was accused of doing some pretty bad things. I would end up with 3 pretty crazy charges: assault, stalking, and making threatening phone calls. Well, I actually did one of the things I was accused of doing, but I'm going to tell you all about that in this video, and what I only can hope that I prove to you is that in some cases, not all of them, okay, I'm not trying to justify anything, I'm just saying in some cases it can come out that some chicks are crazy. And again, I'm not trying to say in all cases, and if this guy did what he's accused of doing, this guy definitely deserves whatever he's going to get. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of insight from a guy who's done a lot of time of what I think could potentially happen in his case. But first, I want to tell you a story from a time in my life where I went through a very similar situation. And again, I didn't do everything that I was accused of doing. I did do one of those things, but I can't explain. Now, the story I'm about to tell you takes place back when I was 21 years old. This was a long time ago, especially considering the fact that I am now 35 years old. Joe, you is as old as dirt. Joe Dirt. Matter of fact, please do not start calling me Joe Dirt. But this happened at a time when I was 21 years old, and at this time, I was dealing with a pretty crazy relationship. The chick that I was dealing with was somebody that I should have never been dealing with, because together we were like gasoline and a lit match. Boom. I probably should have used a way better effect than that, I'm sorry. But it was dealing with this crazy chick that I would end up getting 3 really crazy charges: assault, making threatening phone calls, and stalking. When I tell you this story, you're going to hear just how crazy all of this really was. And also, what could potentially happen to you if you choose to get wrapped up with somebody that you know ain't no damn good for you. You really got to pay attention to who you're dealing with out there. I'm not just talking about your friends. I'm talking about people that you choose to be in a relationship with. Now, these 3 charges that this chick would end up filing against me, all of this happened within like a 3-day period. And on the first day, I would be at the mall. I would be minding my own business. I was there with a buddy of mine. And then all of a sudden, I see this ex-girlfriend of mine. She's sitting there. She's eating lunch with this dude. Now, I was completely wrong for this. I'm just going to go ahead and admit this. And I would definitely end up getting what was coming to me for what I would end up doing. But again, I was at the mall with my buddy. I see her eating lunch with this guy. Now, mind you, at this time, I thought I loved this chick. But to be completely honest with you, at this point in my life, because my life was so crazy, I didn't even know what love was. And there was no way that I should have been thinking I was loving a chick like this. But I see her eating lunch with this dude that I don't know, and I go sit down at the table. Hey, what's going on over here? What y'all doing? Y'all eating some lunch? Hey, man. Hey, who are you? Now, when I begin to question this guy about who he is, he doesn't say anything to me, and they just get up and leave. At this point, I feel completely disrespected by this guy because he ain't saying nothing to me. Had I had any kind of maturity in my life at that point, I would have thought better of it and just left the situation alone. However, I did. They ended up leaving the mall. I left out right after them, and I went and I tried to fight this guy. But this guy didn't want to fight me, and I found this to be like absolutely shocking because my fight game is like on a 10. Damn, Joe, your fight game on a 10? That sounds like you got a pretty decent fight game. Yeah, I'm talking about a 10 out of 100. Oh, wow. Yeah. You must really not have any type of a fight game at all. Yeah, to be completely honest with you, I don't. But believe me when I tell you, I will go. So yeah, I was a little shocked this guy didn't want to fight me. This guy didn't speak to me. He don't want to fight me. And now because I'm just jealous or I'm mad or I don't even know why, I just do something stupid. Hey man, what's up? You too good
Hey man,
to talk
just
to
leave
me
me alone.
alone. I ain't trying to. It was stupid. It really was. I'm not proud of this at all, but this is the story. Now, when I did this, when I hit this dude, I didn't knock him out. I knocked him down. But when I hit this dude, the girl absolutely freaked out. She was like,
Oh my God, I'm calling the cops. I'm gonna put you in jail. You need to go to jail.
and as soon as I heard those CCJ words, call cops, jail, I took off. I ran. I would end up running to the opposite end of the parking lot where my buddy and the car was waiting for me at, and no sooner than I got to that parking lot and was about to go to the car, all of a sudden I heard, why is there a car way down there that just slid into this parking lot all the way at the opposite end of where I'm standing at? And it's just sitting there like we're about to be on some OK Corral type of stuff. In fact, the only thing I felt like we were missing at that time was a tumbleweed blowing right past the street. I'm standing here, and the car's way down there that just slid into the opposite end of this parking lot. This guy would end up jumping out of this car who would end up being a friend of the guy that I just punched for no damn reason. And the first thing that I noticed when this guy jumps out of this car is he is massive. Yeah, this guy looks like he eats weight benches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This guy is huge. This Incredible Hulk type of guy who would end up jumping out of this car would do so and then point at me like, you! Me? And then from there, he would proceed to run directly at me like a linebacker full speed as I stood there absolutely scared to death like a deer in the headlights. You want to hit my best friend? Hey, look, man, whoa. This guy firing off on me would feel like I just took a 12-gauge slug to the face. And don't get me wrong, I do realize how bad all of this makes me sound. The only way that I could even begin to try to justify this is by saying that back during this time I was super immature, I was young, and you know, when you're living the type of life that I was living, dealing with the type of people that I was dealing with, and really not having any type of regard for anything, I was doing some very stupid things. I am in no way proud of any of this. The second charge this girl would end up putting on me was a making threatening phone calls charge. And where this stemmed from was this chick actually called me. Yeah, I didn't make this phone call. She actually called me and did so to tell me one of the craziest things I'd ever heard in my life. But this chick would call me from a blocked number just to tell me, hey, Joe, it's me, your crazy ex-girlfriend. Hey, I'm just calling to let you know you don't never got to go see your probation officer again. I took care of all of that for you. Hold on. How did you even get my number? I done changed my number 3 times. Why are you calling me? And what you mean I ain't never got to go see my probation officer ever again? What you done did now? It's kind of a crazy story, and you know, I'm really sorry that I did this, and I want to make it right. But I accidentally called your probation officer, and I told them that you were out in the streets robbing people and selling drugs. I'm sorry. We can fix this, right? You done called my probation officer and told them what? I ain't even doing any of this. In fact, at this point in my life, I actually got a job. I got a job. Why are you going to call my probation officer and tell him this? And what you mean you're going to try to fix this? How are you going to fix this? Joe, we can fix this somehow. We just got to go down to the probation officer and talk to him. I'm telling you, I want to help you fix this.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Why won't you just leave me alone?
Yeah. She ended up calling my probation officer and telling her all of this crazy stuff, then telling me that we can fix this, that she wanted to help me fix this. But it was during me hearing this that I know I said some things that I probably shouldn't have said. I was definitely mad. I probably said that I really was disliking her in a really bad way. And because of that, not only would she end up calling my probation officer, who we would actually go see together, and my probation officer would be like, you called me because you was mad at this man? Do you know you can get this man locked up right now for saying this dumb shit? I'm so sorry, I was just mad at him. I was just mad he wasn't answering the phone. I didn't know what else to do, so I called you. Even though this probation officer hated me, and I mean she hated me, this was probably the only time that this woman ever felt sympathy for me. She was probably thinking like, boy, you just dumb as out here dealing with this crazy girl like this. And you're gonna end up getting violated if you keep messing with her. Which of course I would, but just not quite yet. Because the creme de la creme, that was still to come. That big boy assault charge that this chick would end up putting on me. Now where this charge would actually stem from was one night I was leaving a party with this other girl. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We were only going to the store to get some cigarettes. And when we left to do so, we ended up coming up to a stoplight where there was only one other car at that stoplight. And lo and behold, you will never imagine who was sitting right there at that stoplight right beside us. Hey girl driving this car, I don't want to alarm you, but That's my ex-girlfriend sitting in that car right beside me. Now at this point, I've still got the black eye from this guy who just Hulk smashed me in the mall parking lot after I hit his friend. And though to some degree I won't even lie, I probably instigated this situation because as we were sitting at the stoplight, I'm looking over at her, and then all of a sudden, she's looking over at me. And when she looks over at me, she rolls her window down, and the only thing I say with this big old black eye, hey, I hope there ain't no hard feelings about the other day. Talking about the time while we were in the mall parking lot and I punched the dude she was with, and then I damn near got knocked out myself by his Incredible Hulk type of friend. But as soon as I say, hey, no hard feelings about the other day, this girl doesn't even respond. All she does is picks up her cell phone and hits 3 buttons plus 1 more. Now she could be dialing 411 for information, probably looking to find out what time, I don't know, Jody's house closes. But no, she's definitely not calling information looking for Jody. She's calling 911. I know she calls 911. I tell the girl to absolutely floor it. She does. We get in a high-speed chase 2 cities later as this girl has been behind us the entire time chasing us. I mean, if that don't symbolize crazy to you right there, what's gonna happen next definitely does. We finally end up on a long dark road where I tell the girl driving the car, stop the car. I jump out of the car, start running after her car. I know that sounds pretty crazy too, but I'm just trying to get her to stop chasing us. She's backing up the entire time. I'm running after the car. I give up and I throw my hands up. Stop chasing us! She's sitting there behind the wheel, both hands on 10 and 2, looking as crazy as can possibly be. I turn around for whatever reason. This was absolutely crazy, but I turn around and just start walking back to the car. And all of a sudden, all I hear is... Now, as I hear this car begin to accelerate, I'm thinking to myself, there is no way in hell this girl is about to... This girl just hit me with her car! Luckily, at this point, my legs are not broken. I jump up after I have rolled across the hood of her car, landed right by the driver's side door. Somehow, you couldn't even script this better in a movie. I jump up to my unbroken legs, grab the door handle, open the door, which for whatever reason wasn't locked. Open the door, grab that cell phone from her, and no more being on the phone with 911. At this point, I'm running back to the car, trying to get away. As I'm doing so, this girl is right behind me, on me the entire time, on my shirt, ripping my damn shirt off. In fact, as I sit down in the car, telling the girl, go, 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 she's still got my shirt, which begins to rip off of my body. And as the girl accelerates, there goes my shirt off of my body. And there goes that crazy ex-girlfriend of mine tumbling into the ditch. Now, real quick, I gotta say this. I never touched this chick. I got hit by her car after I got chased through 2 cities by this chick while she was on the phone with 911. Hits me with her car. I do smash her phone in the process of all of this. She grabs my shirt, rips my shirt off my body, and then she goes tumbling into the ditch. Now after this other chick accelerates, we take off. The other chick is still laying in the ditch somewhere. I don't even care. We would only make it like less than half a mile down the road before we would be passing all of these police who were coming to that 911 distress call. And it would only be like 50 feet later when I'm jumping out of this chick's moving vehicle and then being chased by like the entire city's police department at like 3 o'clock in the morning with no shirt on in the middle of March. One of the things I remember most from that night is it was cold. And even with the entire police department chasing me that night, I would end up getting away. However, it would only be like a week later before I would end up getting locked up. And when I did so, I wrote a letter to my lawyer who was a female. When I saw that I had a female lawyer, I thought to myself, oh my God, she's gonna see I've got these crazy charges against this ex-girlfriend of mine. This woman's gonna think I'm some kind of a monster. But I wrote a letter to this court-appointed lawyer representing me, and I told her all of what I've just told you. And do you know that this woman came to see me like the next day? And the very first words this woman said to me were, Joseph, I'm not your mother, but you do not need to be with this. In fact, we could beat all of these charges and get this girl locked up her damn self. But because of the fact that I was young, dumb, thinking I was in love, I told the lawyer I didn't want this girl to get locked up. In fact, I said, I just want all of this to go away. Because all she's accusing me of doing, I ain't done none of this. Well, I probably did say a few things on the phone when she told me she called my probation officer, but I felt like I was at least justified in that. Oh, and one more thing real quick. I probably should have threw this in there, but one of the main reasons why the lawyer was able to tell me we can beat all of this is because I forgot to mention that after I got arrested, this girl would end up coming to see me and telling me how much she loved me, how much she wanted to be with me, how much she couldn't stand being apart from me. Well, if you can't stand being apart from me, I certainly can't tell you've got me in jail. I know, I'm sorry. I want to make it all go away, but at least I know where you are. You're in jail. Yeah, that is exactly what she told me. She said she couldn't stand to be away from me, but at least while in jail, she knew where I was. Oh, Joe, you weren't lying. That girl is crazy. Now, it's me telling you all of this that I'm going to really start drawing some comparisons between my situation and this whole XxXTentacion situation that he's dealing with. Now, what I feel like is going on with him and his situation is similar to what I was dealing with. After I got locked up, the girl wanted to help me get out of jail, and she was willing to go to court and say what was the truth. He didn't do it. Or maybe like what happened in my situation, the girl would end up going to court saying she didn't remember. Now, one major difference between what I went through and what this guy is actually going through right now is I never was out on bond. In fact, I was sitting in jail on all those charges plus a probation violation. They weren't giving me any bond. But while XxXTentacion was out on bond, I guess he was having contact with this ex-girlfriend of his, which was a violation of the conditions of his bond arrangement, and also where I feel like they're getting this witness tampering charge from, which again, I think I read in the state of Florida, this thing carries a max of like a life sentence. Now, when I would end up going to court for these charges, I would end up beating the assault and the stalking charge, because in both of those cases, I ain't doing neither one of those things. However, when it came to that whole making a threatening phone call charge and this ex-girlfriend of mine getting on the stand telling this prosecutor as he's asking her, can you tell me what happened on this date? I don't remember. Interesting. Well, can you tell me what happened on this date? I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember that either. Well, as this girl sat on the stand trying to say that she couldn't remember, the prosecutor said, well, let me go ahead and try to jog your memory. Ma'am, go ahead and read these statements aloud to the court that you made against the defendant. He said that he was going to... Did I really say that? Because that sounds horrible. Now, after this prosecutor had this ex-girlfriend of mine read these statements that basically painted me out to look like Hannibal Lecter, the judge then gave me a chance to defend myself, asking me if I had anything that I'd like to say. And I most certainly did so. I told the judge and the court, I said, hey, look, you know, I'm young and I make a lot of mistakes. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't say things in the heat of the moment that I definitely should not have said. However, I only said those things in the heat of the moment, and I would never physically hurt this girl. I love this girl with all of my heart, Your Honor, and I want to be with her forever. That girl right there, Your Honor, who's sitting in that witness box and pointing me out and making statements against me, she's my soulmate, Your Honor. Meanwhile, in my mind, all I'm thinking is, Lord, please help me beat these charges, because I promise you, if you do, I will never talk to this girl again. Just get me out of this. I love her, Your Honor. I love her with all of my heart. I said some things I shouldn't have said them, but I love her. The judge would end up throwing out the assault charge and the stalking charge. I would, however, wear that making a threatening phone call charge, where I would end up getting like 30 days for that charge. Now, let me go ahead and give you my expert opinion on what I feel like is going to happen in this XxXTentacion situation, especially considering how I've went through something pretty similar myself in the past. Now, as far as this aggravated battery of a pregnant woman charge that he has, if they have pictures of this girl beat up, meaning this girl came right to the police department after this happened, he is absolutely in this situation. If they've got statements that she's made saying exactly what he's done to her, I think I read something like where he was beating her with coat hangers because she had heard some song with somebody else on that song and she thought that guy's verse was better. I mean, dude, you're famous. You just signed a $6 million record deal to Capitol Records. What you doing beating girls with a coat hanger for? But if any of that is true and they've got proof to back up that it is, this guy could be looking at a couple of years just for that charge alone. Now, as far as this witness tampering charge that he has that I've heard is the worser of the charges, because of how much time this actually carries, let me tell you, this is going to be a lot harder for the state to actually prove. It's going to take a lot for them to be able to convict this guy on this, because they're going to need this girl, this ex-girlfriend of his who put these charges on him, to actually come to court and say that she is scared to testify against him. And if they don't have her saying that, or have some extraordinary proof, whether it be phone calls, videos, something that really proves that this guy was trying to intimidate this chick from coming to testify against him, they're not going to be able to convict this guy of this charge. I can guarantee you XxXTentacion is going to be going to court with a super high paid lawyer, somebody who's going to be able to best represent him in this situation. However, the best possible chance this guy has of getting off on these charges, especially if he did not do this, is to have that ex-girlfriend come to court and say that she lied. Now, if he didn't do these things and she did lie about these things and she did end up going to court saying that she lied, you know, she would be facing charges at that point, because that would be like falsifying a police report. So if he really didn't do these things and she only put these charges on him because she was mad at him for whatever reason, his best possible defense would be her coming to court saying that she lied about all of it and she only put those charges on him because she was mad at him. But if he did do these things, if he did, I'm not saying he didn't, but if he did do these things, you know, he deserves whatever he's going to get, because what I've heard is some pretty nasty stuff to be doing to somebody, especially being in the position that this dude is in. This dude has the ability to influence so many young people. And to have these young people seeing this dude and seeing what he's being accused of, if he really did these things, that's some terrible shit for him to be doing. Shouldn't nobody be doing that type of stuff. And if he did do these things and he does get prison time, well, then he better be ready to start forking out some major money, because there's going to be people who want to bring problems to this guy just because of his celebrity status, and because of the fact that they know he has money, and also because of his damn charges. You got to imagine, this is nationwide news. Everybody is hearing about what this guy is allegedly being accused of, and you can best believe that the guys inside of the prison, they're hearing about this shit too. Don't nobody in prison like a guy that puts his hands on a woman. I'm just trying to tell you. Because there's only going to be 3 options for this guy if he does end up in prison. 1, protective custody. 2, you're going to be fighting a lot. Or 3, you're going to be paying some people to look after you. You know, I told you a crazy story from my past in this video that I am not proud of at all. And because of that, I really want to end this video with a positive message. It is very easy for you to end up in a high-risk situation. Whether that be dealing with people that you don't need to deal with, who you know are trouble, or getting in a relationship with a female or a dude who could pose the same type of trouble. You really have to pay close attention to the people you allow to be a part of your life, and those people who you also associate with. In life, nobody is going to get it right all of the time. You will make mistakes. However, when you do make those mistakes, try to realize that you did, and try to do everything humanly possible that you can to ensure that you don't make those same mistakes again. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!